Hey everyone, it is Alicia Cooper Wells, known as Miss Cooper Home Loans. How are you today? I'll give Instagram a moment to let you guys know that I'm here. Hey there, call me sweet. Hey there, Mr. Tate. Thanks for joining us live. Well, my name is Alicia Cooper Wells. I am a wife, a mother, a serial entrepreneur, and I've been able to build a real estate portfolio one property at a time. And I did it not as a real estate agent, but understanding how the money works and showing others as well how they can grow wealth in real estate. I wanted to hop on here to really talk about the beauty of being in the money business. So I'm watching the news, I'm seeing, I'm feeling, right? It's real. The recession is here. Whether they want to talk about it on the news or not, we know that there is stress on the system. Money may not be flowing as quickly. And everyone that I know is often trying to find a way of making more money, right? We want to make we want to make the ends stretch, right? We don't want to have more month than paycheck. But it can be very frustrating when we're initially probably working maybe a 9 to 5 and we see some stability in that, but we know and understand that in a recession, we see even some of the best employees and some of the best companies doing layoffs and shut-offs and shutting down. And that, again, creates now an emotional side of stress and anxiety that, what do we do? And what I do is I teach people how to be the bank, how to be the money. No matter what market we're in, people will need money. But I want to be transparent here. Everybody may need money, but not everyone is in the right position to qualify for money. And this is where you can come in and be that person. Whether it's you being a consultant to help them get fundable to becoming qualified for money, or showing them avenues that they may not even know were available to them. But one of the things that I'm going to tell you, no matter what market we're in, I'm going to speak to my story. Credit is so important. And some may feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Man, all she's talked about recently is credit. We can look and we can hear the get rich quick and building business credit, but your personal credit matters. So, my story, last recession, I was on the verge of a divorce. I mean, I had listened and I was like, okay, we're going to get on track and we're going to follow Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey has this method where you put the money that you're going to spend for certain activities, gas, food, in these envelopes. And my husband was like, girl, if you don't get them envelopes out of here, you're going to be living in them envelopes. And I remember how deflated I felt. Like, what solution do we have? I mean, how are we going to make it work? What are we going to do? And I had to do some unconventional things so that I could protect my credit. That is what I had to do. So one of the things I'll share today that I did. At the time, we had a 745 BMW, a S550 Mercedes-Benz. Both of these vehicles were upside down. Do y'all know what that means, upside down? That means we owed more on the vehicle than what they were worth. And some people, when they're in that position, they may decide that, or they may not know their options. Let me say it that way. Because again, a lot of the decisions we make are based on the information and knowledge that we have. So what I did with those two vehicles is I traded them in. I was upside down. So let me use some numbers to help you guys see this. Let's say on the S 550, I think I owed $5,000 more than what the car was worth. That one wasn't that bad, but I didn't have $5,000. And then on the BMW, I owed a lot more. I think I owed like $14,000 more than the vehicle was worth. Thanks Cola, thanks Queen Blueprint, thanks Brown Sugar, thanks Kelly Holistic for joining my live. I'm sharing just my real life, what I went through last recession, and how I was able to get through. So I had these 2 luxury vehicles that I loved. I mean, when you would pull up in the 745, people would look at you like, oh, you got the big body. Or even in the Benz. I mean, but I was willing to put my ego aside to protect my credit because I had already known how difficult and challenging bad credit was. And I mean, I'd gone through that when I shared my story of being a single mom coming through the projects, and I needed to have credit to qualify to buy my very first property. So at this time, we're in a recession. The housing market isn't doing that well. It crashed. And you know, I got these car payments on these 2 vehicles. So I traded them in, and like I said, I think I owed $5,000 on the 745, and I was totally upside down on the other vehicle, which was like $14,000 or $15,000. So let's just say $20,000. So that $20,000, I traded those vehicles in. That means I owe $20,000. Okay. So, now I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Well, I was able to roll the negative of what I owed into another vehicle. And this may not always be the best strategy for everyone, but this was the best strategy for me because I didn't have $20,000 to pay. And that $20,000 would have ended up on my credit, or those cars would have ended up as a repossession because I didn't have enough to keep making 2 car payments. Okay. Can I be real with you guys right now? Like, I want to share a real story, real life, somebody who does this in real life. And this was at that time, real time, going through not being able to make those things work because I had taken some risk. I had believed that the housing market was going to be great forever. It was my first go round, you know, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to win at this. And you can win. Because I hear a lot of people saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. I'm going to tell you, that's not my life. A lot of the things that I get is too good to be true. I believe in it too good to be true. But I do believe we can have calculated risk at the same time. And this strategy was my calculated risk on how I was going to tackle my debt and remain married, because my husband told me, girl, you can go live in them white envelopes. Okay. When I tried to do the Dave Ramsey method. So, I was able to roll the negative amortization of those 2 vehicles into a Ford Fusion. So at the time, I mean, I think this is 2013, 2014. I rolled $20,000 into purchasing a Ford Fusion. So I think I owed like $45,000 on a Ford Fusion back then. We know a Ford Fusion was not worth that. But the vehicle and my credit could sustain me financing and paying that amount for the vehicle. And because of that, I was able to make my little $436 payment every single month for, I think I financed that vehicle for 6 or 7 years. I was able to pay all of that debt off. And some people feel like the only choice you have is to walk away from a vehicle. Don't believe that. You may have options. You may be able to roll it into another vehicle. There may be other strategies that you can have. So I get the Ford Fusion, and guys, I drove that Ford Fusion up until maybe about 2017, I think. So that was my car. And then I knew in my heart, though, my ego wanted to be fed. So after that, that's when, some of you know, I bought a Porsche, bought 2 of them, because all markets are cyclical. But when the market is changing, you have to be willing to make some decisions that may be uncomfortable. And that may not be practical for everybody around you. That's why you have to have people around you that can encourage you while you're going through. And not everyone is going to validate you, okay, while you're making these unconventional moves. Because if you're a person like me, your moves are pretty much almost always unconventional. Listen, it's a risk buying a house. I don't care what. It's a risk even when somebody gives you a house. You still got homeowners insurance. You got taxes. You got repairs. I'm going to tell you, there's always somebody that's going to feed that side of you to tell you not to move. And I'm a person that believes in SWOT analysis. So I speak to the strengths as well as the weaknesses. I speak to the opportunities as well as the threats. I go in with eyes wide open that I may not win at this 100%, but I'm going to put my 100% in. I have a coach, I have mentors, I have friendships, I have relationships, and I want you to know, I pay my coach. I pay to have that relationship, and he's not that nice. Any of you that ever played sports before know that your coach is probably not your friend. That's a big difference in my world, what I consider a coach and a mentor. If you want someone to be your coach, they're probably not always going to say the things that make you happy. But having a mentor, that's the person that often can share their stories, their personal life, to comfort you as you're going through, that you're not alone. But I wanted to share one of the tips that I had to go through was really reducing, swallowing my pride, and really setting my ego aside to drive in that Ford Fusion. I want you to know it was a very humbling experience, but what would have been worse is if my credit wasn't in the position it needed to be, so when the market did swing around, I wouldn't be sitting here right now telling you guys I own over 100 properties, telling you I own commercial real estate. These are the things. So we have to be willing to make a short-term sacrifice for a long-term goal. But if you're like me, I'm a believer in God. The book I stand on, the Bible, it tells me, though, that the obedience is greater than the sacrifice. So me being obedient is far more important than me sacrificing later. So I encourage you today to get real with yourself and find out what are the obedient steps you need to take before you're forced into sacrificing in places you don't want to. Before you're dealing with additional stresses and anxieties you don't have to. Now, there are so many unexpected activities that happen, and we can't prepare for all of them. We can't, because if we prepare and worry about all the things that can go wrong, we would never take action. A lot of us have analysis paralysis. We get the information, and we don't do a 2-letter word. Y'all know what that 2-letter word is? Any guesses what that 2-letter word is? Go. G-O. We have to go. Taking action and moving is better than perfect. I teach people in my course to just go out and do it. You don't have to build this perfect company, because if you build the perfect company for you, you will end up stuck as in your business, opposed to being a boss a business owner, allowing your business to make money without you always having to be present and in it. Because my goal is for you to not just say you have a business. That's why I don't do a franchise. I believe in creating business owners who have partnerships and relationships. No gatekeepers here. I put up my bank statement and you guys get to sign up with those lenders and form your own relationship based off of what we've been able to do. I am the person that, listen, you let me in the party, I'm sorry. I'm going to let as many people in as possible. Unapologetically. Because I believe so many people just don't have the opportunity. But the other side of the coin is, so many of us aren't willing to walk into the opportunity. Because it does take effort on our side. We're required to do the 2-letter word, go. My 2-letter word wasn't budget. My 2-letter word wasn't credit repair. It starts with taking action. And then we can work towards these other activities. You guys probably keep seeing me look up. It's a bug. But I hope this message today and my story helps encourage you to get started. And if you want a coach or mentor like me, definitely reach out. DM me. I've been there. I've done that. I knew 6-7 months ago to how to start pivoting so that right now I wouldn't have to be selective on where I eat or if I get to eat out at all. There's strategies that we can take. There's moves that we can make. But again, we have to have the right information in the right circle. Well, if this is your first time listening to me, put a 1 in the chat. If you've heard me before, put a 2 in the chat. And if you're watching this on a replay, put a 3 in the chat. I really encourage you today to take action on something that you've been waiting and sitting on and trying to make perfect. I hope you just go. Go and do it. How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Don't try to do everything all at one time. I'm trying to tell you guys, I'm dieting. I'm trying to get my health right. Healthy, wealthy, and wise is my goal for 2023, 2024. But I can't just say I am not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to eat no sugar. That would be foolish. And I've tried that before. That's why the weight come on double. Now I'm making lifestyle changes. I'm applying the same information that I use to build wealth to building health. Well, my name's Alicia Cooper Wells. I'm a wife, a mother, a serial entrepreneur. And I've been able to build wealth in real estate, not as a real estate agent, but as a lender, learning how the money works. And now I show others how they can be wealthy and they can be a business owner and have access to the money to make the deals happen. If that's something that you're interested in, DM me. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.